We're in La Línea in the south of Spain. We've come down here to escape the rain and thunderstorms in Costa del Sol in Torremolinos, where we're staying. Hopefully it will clear up here in the next hour or so, stop raining, and there'll be some sun. Because behind me is the Rock of Gibraltar and the border. So we parked on the Spanish side as it was a bit easier with the hire car. We needed to pay some extra fee and do some paperwork when we hired it if we wanted to drive out of Spain, which we didn't do, but that's fine. We're gonna walk across the border. Should be fairly straightforward. It is a external border of Schengen, so there'll be full passport checks, and then to come into Gibraltar, as it's the UK territory, we also have to go through passport checks there. Should be quite straightforward. And then we'll walk over the airport runway into Gibraltar and then explore the city a bit. Maybe we'll walk up the rock and meet some monkeys. Let's see. Should be a very interesting and exciting day. So this will be us leaving Spain. I won't record this as it's probably not allowed and I don't want to get into trouble. I want to come back to Spain later. So that was all very straightforward, just a quick check of passports, less than 30 seconds to be honest. So behind me is the airport terminal, and then in front of me is what used to be the main road into Gibraltar that would go across the runway. We're now going to walk across it, as although it's closed for cars, they go round a different way through a tunnel. It's still the main pedestrian route in. It's very important we keep in the right lane here, otherwise we will be under prosecution apparently. Looks like they're just closing the crossing actually as we came in, so perfect timing. Must be a plane coming in soon. Or maybe not, they've just opened the barrier again, so I don't know what that was all about. So I think that was that definitely is the first time I've ever walked across an airport runway. And that's us across the runway, and now ahead you can see the Moorish castle. And that's going to be the starting point for our walk up the rock, I believe. Just stopped at the petrol station to get some British chocolates. So we're just about to go into the land port, which originally was the only way into Gibraltar, of course, except by the sea. This here looks like a main square with lots of restaurants and coffee shops, and here's Costa Coffee. And of course, fish and chips. And then, not so British, Burger King. Let's continue. Looks like a very typical British high street, to be honest. The rain has stopped now and it's starting to clear up in the sky, so we're gonna head straight for the rock. Here we have the iconic British red telephone box. Of course, there's a lot of up to go. Cable car's closed at the moment for refurbishment, so there's no shortcut up there unless you want to take a taxi tour. But where's the achievement in that? As we're starting to get higher up, there's some views starting to appear. Looks very similar to a London bus stop. Here's the ticket office. So we're climbing up the rock now. We're in the Gibraltar Nature Reserve. It's £30 entrance fee, and then you get a wristband here, which proves that you've come in and paid your fee. And now behind me we can see Algeciras. This is the Spanish port city. It's where most of the traffic to Morocco goes, and from Morocco loads of containers coming over. And a bit further around in the far distance over there, that's La Línea, where we came, the Spanish city we came from, parked and came over from. You can also see the airport runway that we walked across. So yeah, let's keep going. So we're on the lookout for the monkeys for two reasons. One, because we'd quite like to see them. Two, because I need to be quite careful with my camera. So I want to make sure that no monkeys sneak up on me and steal it. But I'm sure I'll be okay. We'll just treat the monkeys with respect, and they'll respect us back. I'm hoping, at least. So we start to get a good view of Gibraltar now, and we can see all the high-rise buildings. Just shows how compact it is. They need to build sort of very tightly and densely. And then also in the far distance, you can see Morocco. It's about 20 to 25 kilometers away, so on clear days you can see it. Just got the first sighting of two monkeys behind me. There's a group of maybe around 10 monkeys all sat here, just peacefully. They don't seem to be too bothered by us. We're 5 to 10 meters away, and yeah, no problem. That was really cool to see wild monkeys so close. I think, to be honest, they can be quite bad and steal your stuff and bite, but 95% of the time it's just treat them with respect and they're okay. Maybe I'll be proven wrong later, but that's my theory. We're heading now for the top of the cable car station. Should be a nice viewpoint up there. It's incredible how all these taxis driving up and down here on these narrow roads with big drops at some point. I don't think I could drive up here. Wouldn't be brave enough. This would be the cable car here, but they're doing work on it this year, so not in operation. After so much uphill, finally some downhill, and we're just approaching one of the monkey feeding stations in front of me. There's loads of monkeys just ahead of me, so I need to be really careful with the camera now. They look very calm and peaceful, but maybe that's their trick. We're at the Skywalk viewpoint now. There's a lot of monkeys hanging around here. The Skywalk area was really cool with all the monkeys. Some sat there, some jumping around, some higher up, and they were very chill as well. Didn't seem very bothered by us. Just sort of kept a nice distance. There was just before we left a group of people, and one of them came and tried to give a fist bump to one of the monkeys, and another tried to sit down next to it, and then the monkey tried to open the person's jacket. So I think if you just treat the monkeys with respect, don't be silly, they treat you with respect. That's my theory so far, at least. Just coming up to St. Michael's Cabin now. I think there's a big cave here as well, we'll see. And very much downhill now, much easier on the legs. So I think it'll probably be another hour until we get down to the main city, which is good. The park closes in about an hour and a half, so that's good timing. Going into the cave now. I think there's a light show in here, but let's see. Inside the cave now, and we've walked through some passageways with really impressive rock formations, and then come through to this massive hall here. that was a cool experience. Now we're gonna head down the rock back towards the city, maybe find some monkeys along the way. Let's see. Can see the top there, the cable car station we walked past earlier, and then at the top of the big wall, it's a big staircase you can climb up, and that's where we saw the big group of monkeys earlier. And now we're about halfway down towards Gibraltar City down there, and the weather is totally different now. Sun is out, feels very nice. So we're going towards the Windsor Bridge and the Ape's Den now. So we have the rules to follow when you're around the monkeys. And it's quite common sense. Do not touch them, do not feed them, don't surprise them, give them space, respond to their, or react to their warning signals. And this is the Windsor Suspension Bridge. Ooh. There's a big drop below and it's a bit bouncy, but it looks like a solid construction. There's also a path you can take around to avoid it. Some great views from here. Luckily for me, the gaps between the wooden planks are very small, so you can't see down below. That was an experience. Just coming up to Ape's Den now, and I see some monkeys ahead. I was worried about the monkeys. Maybe I should be worried about the snakes instead. And that's us leaving the nature reserve with 1 minute to go. We're going to head down to the city now and have a look around there. Maybe see what we can get for dinner as well. So we used about 4 hours in the nature reserve in total. I think that was a nice amount of time for the route we took. Maybe if we had a little bit longer, we would have gone to 1 or 2 more places. But overall, I'm very happy with the visit. It's great to see the monkeys. They're sort of very calm and peaceful, to be honest. A lot more so than I was expecting. Yeah, so I can recommend a visit here, and especially outside of the peak tourist season. I think it's much nicer when you're walking around. There's not so many of the taxis as well. I can imagine in the summer, so many people, so many of these taxis driving around. If I was a monkey, I would probably be a little bit annoyed with all these visitors. So I can understand why they maybe try and steal people's possessions. But I came out with everything, got my glasses, got my phone, got my camera, so I'm very happy. So here's a map where I can show you the route that we took. So we started at the Moorish castle, and then we went up to here where we saw the first monkeys, and then all the way up to the cable car station and the skywalk area where there was loads of monkeys, to the caves, and then the suspension bridge, And this is where we saw the last monkeys before coming down to the Devil Gaps exit to here. And now we go down to the city. Living in Norway, I always think when we see staircases like this, how difficult it must be in the winter with the snow. But I guess that's not a problem here. They seem to have these very small buses here so they can get up and down all of the streets on the hill. Very narrow and lots of sharp corners. I think these streets were definitely designed for a time when cars were much smaller. We're now entering through the Southport Gate into the city centre.
Maybe it's just a Spanish thing.
So from here we can see back up the rock to where we were earlier. So we're now walking along Main Street, which, as the name suggests, is the main street of Gibraltar with all the shops and restaurants, etc. This is the Commonwealth Park. Looks quite nice. It's definitely a British high street. Although not many British high streets have palm trees and orange trees. So now we're back at that big main square we were earlier today before we went up the rock. Think we found where we're going to get some food, a traditional British pub. That was some good food. The fish and chips tasted great. We're gonna now go for a walk along the waterfront area and then head back towards Spain as it's getting dark. Well, it is dark now, but it's getting late and we've got an hour and a half drive back to Torremolinos afterwards. So we're just walking through the Ocean Village Marina Resort now. So I think that's all we have time for in Gibraltar today. So now it's time to head back to Spain. Very weird to be walking across a runway. So now we're just going to head back over the border into Spain. So that was a very easy border check. He barely even looked at my passport, to be honest. So yeah, we're back in Spain and we're gonna go to the car now and drive back up to Torremolinos. So I'll end the video here. Hope you enjoyed that trip around Gibraltar, enjoyed seeing the monkeys. I certainly did. If you like the video, give it a like and subscribe to see where we go next.